Hello and welcome to the Ball Games Podcast, episode 13. Let's
Right.
get into it.
I'm increasing. Look at the pose of that dog.
I know, he genuinely thinks I'm talking to him. Look at him. He thinks
He's proud. No, he's proud. He's
he
proud.
thinks he's at a photo shoot every time he's on camera.
He's proud because he knows he's gonna be on YouTube. So he's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna be on my
Look
best
at the
behavior.
camera. Banjo, look.
Banjo. Hey.
He
No.
can't hear you. I've got headphones on, Bruno.
Oh, shut up.
Well, we're talking about the start of the year so far, and what a start it's been. Hey?
Has it?
No, it's been shit. That's the
It's been
point.
the same. What's the difference between 2020
I'll tell you
and
what we'll
21?
do first of all. Actually, we should start by saying RIP to Captain Sir Tom Moore.
Yep. True.
Captain Sir Tom Moore died with COVID-19. Excuse you. After being taken to hospital with pneumonia, he helped raise £39 million for the NHS in 2020 after initially setting out to raise £1,000 by walking loops of his garden. I think 82 foot.
Yeah, something like that.
He was the oldest person to ever achieve a UK #1 single, and on the 17th of July 2020, he was personally knighted by the Queen at Windsor Castle. He served in the British Army during World War II, surviving the innumerable terrors of war, and he died an inspiration and legend to the whole of Britain and the world beyond.
What a legend, mate. What a legend.
Big time.
Well, let's start talking about
Well,
2021.
I mean, where do we start? What have we had so far, mate?
We're still in lockdown, so
Still in
nothing.
lockdown? Well, so far, Bruno, we've seen shoddy food packages for children that rely on free meals. Nothing short of a domestic terror attack with the storming of the Capitol building in America. We've seen the inauguration of Joe Biden and the end of Trump. We've seen Redditors crippling Wall Street, racism in football again, abortion bans, and the accusations of abuse and grooming, to name just a few. And we've only just started February.
This year.
So,
Start
yeah,
better.
for anyone listening and thinking it's all doom and gloom, it probably fucking is.
It definitely is.
So, I mean, the first point I brought up there, you saw these shoddy food packages that were to replace the free school meal system. So people are valuing in this. It's supposed to be a £30, basically, that equates to the amount of food that's supposed to be given. People valued it at like a £5.
Yeah, and they kept the other 25.
Yeah.
The company that.
So obviously the company was being investigated. I'm pretty sure they still are. Not really heard much else from that. But it took the likes of Marcus Rashford, Reece James, Chelsea right back, to bring this to attention after seeing it on Twitter. And one of the most audacious things I think I've ever heard come from Boris Johnson's mouth, he said to Keir Starmer, who's the Labour leader, the opposition, Marcus Rashford has been providing better opposition than you. Well, if he's providing better opposition than the guy who isn't Prime Minister, then he's doing your fucking job better than you moron.
Anyways, yeah, if we think
he's the one who even got this off the fucking mark anyway when they all voted against it. If it wasn't for Marcus Rashford, these kids wouldn't even be getting food, and you want to tell him he's doing a better job than him.
The thing that
have a look at yourself.
It's Matt Hancock when he goes
like,
"Well, but did you vote against this? Yeah, but why did you vote? No, I'm very proud that now everything is okay." I'm like,
yeah, I'm glad we could get it sorted out.
So you're the one who votes
he was
against
constantly dodging the question. And listen, I fucking hate Piers Morgan anyway, but he was badgering him for an answer. And what did he say? Oh, I prefer my own answer on this one. When he's saying, why did you vote against it then? Do you regret voting against it? He just wouldn't answer. These people are scum. But they're happy to take their meal subsidy of £25 a day or whatever they get.
Of course. Did you see that TikTok where it says the only time Matt Hancock actually said the truth? Where he's in one of those news channels and somebody asks him, do we need to be worried about this virus? No. But are you sure? No.
Yeah.
He's like, really? Come on. He's a fucking idiot, man. I think all the British government is fucked. It's constantly, I wouldn't say lying, but it's constantly, there's always something written in small letters, you know. They give you something, but there's always something
But
behind it
listen,
that will
it's the
fuck up
truth
everything.
of basically all politicians across the world. You never get 100% of the truth, and you never will.
No,
They'll give you a sliver of it, and the rest, what's really going on behind the scenes, you don't
it's
even want to know, mate. It
no,
would frighten you.
the rest is fine print.
Yeah,
Let's call it like that.
yeah. So I mean, it's not very good. Let's hope they get this sorted out, and these kids get the food that they need. I mean, there's a lot of I see so much uproar on some of the articles on Facebook. Like, I try and avoid Facebook at all fucking costs. Um, and
Trash.
but sometimes you can't help but looking at seeing, oh, what have people commented about this news article? And some people are just so fucking maniacal and idiotic. Oh, it's the parents' fault. They should be able to afford to feed their kids. Do you realise it's not always that easy? A lot of these people are going to be ones that were working 2 or 3 jobs before COVID and may have now lost those jobs
Yeah,
and have no source of
and
income.
the people that are actually commenting, I'm pretty sure it's stuck up cunts.
Yeah, people that are well off, don't have never had to worry about how they're going to feed their kids or feed themselves, never had to struggle for anything.
It's absolute shit. This country, look, nothing bad to say about the country. The country itself, it's amazing. I think just the leadership of the country is the worst thing here in the UK. They don't give a fuck about anyone else
Yeah,
besides themselves.
but Bruno, ever since I've been uh, aware of politics, I probably the first people that I really became aware of becoming prime minister was Tony Blair that was back in like the late 90s when I
Yeah,
would have probably been about 9, 8. You know,
who was before him? I remember someone.
I think John Major was
Yeah, I
of
think
Tories.
it's something like that. I
And
remember when Blair.
ever since he was prime minister, and I've been aware of politics, I've seen that these people just don't give a shit. And as you become and go through your teenage years and become more and more aware of things around the world, Andrew's fighting a pillow. um, you see more and more that it's the same everywhere. These people don't give a shit. One of the places I was exposed to it most was when I went to Cambodia, when I
Yeah,
was teaching English there for that short period of time. And these people have recovered from, still recovering from one of the most atrocious regimes of all time with the Khmer Rouge. And the government they have now, you speak to any of the locals and they'll tell you these people are corrupt. The prime minister will drive around in like his Bentley around the capital, Phnom Penh, and there's people there in abject poverty, people on the streets. There was a woman when we were walking past, she was so out of it on like glue, I think was the prevalent sort of drug that they were doing, that her
glue.
baby was rolling towards the passing traffic. And
Jesus.
if it wasn't for the guy that I was with, that was volunteers picking up the kid and putting it back with her, it could have been run over. Do you know what I mean? And these people drive past them in a country that has a very, very high poverty rate compared to countries around the world,
Look, I'll
especially
give
around
you.
Southeast Asia. But these people, he's driving around in these Bentleys and they're just siphoning all the money to themselves. All the country's natural resources and heritage sites they sell off to places like Japan or China,
Yeah,
who then make a profit off them because they charge something like Angkor Wat, which you must have heard about, the ancient temples there. They charge maybe 30, $45 to go and view it. They're
look,
really
I'll give
beautiful
you.
places. It's worth it.
I'll give you another example of things that are
Let me
really.
finish
I'll finish it.
first.
Sorry, sorry.
Yeah. And they sell this place off to Japan or China, and it's Japan or China that end up making the money out of it rather than the country itself. If the country itself kept hold of it and started making the money of it, they could probably put that towards a lot because that is tourism in those places is what they 100% rely on basically.
Yeah, but who gets the money? That's the thing. They do
Yeah.
this, but who gets the money? It's the politics. So
Yeah,
they don't give a
exactly.
shit about anyone.
They sell off parts of their forests for deforestation, which then goes off to various other countries to build or whatever, and then these people build agricultural sites there, and it was one of the worst places I've seen corruption. Now, people think in the Western world we're very lucky. We are very lucky to live in the countries that we live in, but the governments we have are not far off that corruption themselves.
No, of course not.
This current prime minister's father was involved in that. You know, remember the Panama Papers from a few
Yeah, yeah,
years
yeah.
back of siphoning off money offshore? His own father. Do you think he didn't have a hand in it?
Of course he did. Come on.
These people have personal wealth. They don't lose money. They don't spend money. They take money. That's what they do. I saw a quote during the pandemic. The 10 richest men in the world have gained like trillions of um, dollars during this pandemic. Their personal wealth has increased that highly. We've spoken about it previously, but now it's gotten even more. They have no interest in the betterment of
Of
humanity or
course not. They
improving
just
other
want to
people's
have their
lives.
money.
It's greed because once you get a little bit, you want a lot.
But You were talking about corruption in governments, but you don't go too far. Look, Christina is from Serbia, for example.
Yeah,
That's the most recent example that I have. Their government is corrupt as hell, as also,
mm,
even though the guy there, the president of the country, he's trying to do a lot of things for the country, but he's still putting money to his pocket. And for example, you only this I found out recently with her. You only get a job there, a decent job, if you have a connection in the government and you have to do something for that. Otherwise, you will not be able to get a proper job there. You
yeah,
know that's something that it's a bit weird. But then going back to now moving to Portugal, for example, recently 2 weeks ago, if I'm not wrong, it was the elections for the president, and Portugal was upside down, like, because Portugal has been led by the left parties since what, maybe 30, 35 years now. And suddenly someone came into the run from extreme right, and he went way up on the polls. That shows that Portugal is actually now pointing to extreme right, and that's going to be a problem as well.
yeah. I mean, the worry is how has the mentality of the people changed so drastically?
You know what? People are fed up. People are fed up of always having the same thing. And even though they know it's wrong, because come on, I understand extreme right is wrong. The idealism of extreme right, everything goes to racism, annihilating everyone that's not with them. But people are fed up of the rest. Nobody does anything. The country is getting worse day by day, and they just need change. But by that,
But
they're
yeah,
unconsciously voting in, let's say, the
they're
devil.
they're voting for something dangerous, really,
Yeah,
because they want change that badly.
because they don't
Like
know
you say,
what's going to
you
happen.
can understand the want, the feel of why have we had it so bad for so long. We need a drastic change. But this similar thing happened. Um, that's how the Nazis got into power.
Yeah,
You know, they started as a socialist party. You know,
I'm
equality,
not.
very
I'm not
not too
surprised.
distant from communism. But they were in a situation after World War One of that depression where the Deutschmark was worthless,
And they took advantage of it.
and they took advantage of it. They went on the rise and they did things in the background, and they didn't start spouting this stuff about Jews being the hated ones for a long time. They
Yeah.
siphoned it in very slowly. They didn't do it just bombard you straight away
No,
with
they
this
did
is a problem.
brainwashing,
The
proper
brainwashing,
brainwashing,
exactly.
slowly.
But this is how this sort of thing starts,
But do you
and you
know
have to
that
be very careful
the
because
world
it
is
becomes
walking there?
fascism very quickly.
But the world is walking towards that. Sooner or later, that's going to happen again.
I don't know. It seems to be at the moment we're in a sort of limbo state of almost on a roundabout of it circling round and round. We've had Trump for so long and that period of what seemed to be very much driving towards fascism, and now you've in a situation where there's probably going to be the complete opposite, a
Yeah,
real
but
change.
in
The
that
real
country,
problem now is countries in Europe that seem to be doing it, and it's an article I want you to bring up actually because I forgot to tell you about it earlier. Whilst we're talking, if you can search for Poland have banned abortions
yeah,
across the country. We'll talk about that a bit later on, but if you can find it whilst we're talking.
I
But Europe
actually
is,
saw a
yeah,
Polish friend of mine sharing that about.
yeah. Well, we'll talk about it properly later on, but this is the worry that there's a lot of European countries going that way. France was very close to it a few years ago. Germany was very close to it. I think Brazil, obviously not part of Europe, but they have already gone to that, haven't they?
Yeah, but they in Brazil, the problem in
Yeah.
Brazil is that everyone gets pregnant, and then it's a
Here's
complication
the
there.
problem with, especially in Portugal, is these people want change and they want all this. They want things to be better for themselves. Understandable, but they've got friends that are from particular groups of minorities that are going to be severely
Affected.
in danger from these
Yeah.
people, and you won't even realize it. There will be people that would maybe potentially vote for them, and then their son, daughter, nephew, niece who are homosexual, for example, would be in real danger from these people, and by the time you've voted them in, it's too late.
No, it's gonna be a
I mean, I don't
problem
know how
soon.
long do they serve in Portugal. Is it just until they get voted out?
No, no, no. It's
So do
four
they just
years.
get 4 years? Yeah,
4 years. The problem is this guy. If he wins,
you
if
can do a lot
he,
in 4 years.
but that's the thing. This guy ran for president. He was third. Now he's gonna run for prime minister. And the thing is, if he runs for prime minister, I'm not sure if he's not gonna win. And if he
Mm.
wins, they're fucked because he wants to change the constitution to allow it to do
Yeah.
to approve certain things, and
See,
that's going to be a
that's where the real
fucking
danger
problem.
starts. That's where the real danger
That's where
starts.
the freedom ends.
Yeah.
If
They
he
take away your freedom,
forget that. That's why I'm never going back to
and
Portugal.
you wouldn't even know about it because they'd spin it to you as something completely different, like the Nazis did in Germany.
This guy wanted to end. He said if he's elected, he wants to end with public schools, public hospitals, everything. He wants to make everything private. I'm like, are you fucking nuts, mate? Are you
Yeah, and the
nuts?
problem is the people that voted for him that wanted change, that would a large amount of them would come from poorer families,
Yeah,
would
and
then be the ones that are worse off.
but then people vote for him, but they don't realize one thing that he said is that the tax that he wants to put in Portugal, he wants to be the same tax for everyone, whether you're rich or poor. But then the
Because
people that are poor
he
are
wants
fucked
he wants his rich friends to
to
stay
pay
rich,
less. Yeah, because they
and
will pay
they'll be the
less.
ones because they're the ones backing him.
Yeah,
They're
and
the ones
then
funding him.
and then middle class and lower class in Portugal, they're fucked because they're gonna pay the same amount of tax that a fucking cunt that gets millions will pay.
Well,
So what's
the class will change. The middle class will become the lower class, and the
yeah?
lower class will become a whole new class.
No, you won't have anything else except
They'll be the
high
impoverished.
class and low class. You won't
Yeah,
have the in
there
between.
won't be in between. You'll have low class, and then you'll have the impoverished.
You have a lot of countries in Europe where that already happens. You only have high class and lower class. There's
Mm.
nothing in between. For example, again, I'll go back to Serbia because it's the one that I'm closest to. Serbia, you only have high class or low class. There's nothing in between. It's impossible to have anything in between, especially
Yeah,
when you think that the lower class, the maximum salary they get, it's 500, 700 euros a month.
yeah. All right, let's move on
Well,
from that.
let's carry on.
Let's move on to another delightfully uplifting subject. The storming of the Capitol building, Bruno. Obviously, it's been touched upon a lot. We're a bit late to the party with it, but don't want to talk about it too much. But what are your thoughts
I thought I
on
was
that whole
watching.
scenario?
When I started watching that, I thought I was playing GTA or something like that by mistake. Because, dude, it's surreal. It's like it came out of a video game. You saw the guys climbing the walls, going in. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then you see the girl getting shot. Well, to be honest, well done for the guy, the security. I'm pretty sure they warned several times. She tried
Yeah.
to jump inside. Fuck it, it's a
Well,
problem. Oh, but she
I
was a
mean, that's
war
the thing.
veteran.
4 people lost their lives in this. 4 people lost their lives in a needless attack. These people went in there with Molotovs, pipe bombs. They went. This is a terrorist attack. They went in there with cable ties.
Yeah, they're lucky.
And
Nobody
when
else
asked
died
about it, they're like, "Oh yeah, found them on the floor." Well, no, you didn't. You went in there looking to take hostages.
deliberately.
Yeah, and they went in there. They were chanting "Hang Mike Pence" because, and it's all kicked off because Trump instigated it. He
On
called
the
for it,
yeah,
and
let's all go to the
it
Capitol.
came
Let's go
from
to the city.
one chat he apparently had with Mike Pence, where he was telling him he had the authority to overturn the election. He doesn't,
No, never.
and told him he doesn't. And then he turned around and said, "I don't want you to be my friend. I want you to be vice president." Blah blah blah. And they kicked off from that. Pence was apparently fuming with him, after saying, "All after all I've done for him." Then Trump goes on Twitter and tweets that Pence has the authority to do it. It got himself banned from all social media for that tweet. And then all of a sudden, these people that are at this rally storm Capitol Hill, and they go for these people. They were looking for him.
Oh, dude.
There was one. You know who AOC is?
Yeah,
Alexandra Ocasio Cortez.
yeah, yeah.
She hid in her bathroom, and she said in an interview she thought that was it. She was going to die. She'd come to terms with the fact that she was going to
But
die.
that's the thing.
They
If you're
didn't
inside the
find her, but
Capitol,
imagine they did.
they
What do
would
you think
lynch
they would
her.
have done to her?
They would have lynched her.
Yeah,
They would have
you
lynched
know,
her.
a young, beautiful woman who's opposing their views. They would have done all sorts to her, mate. Let's be honest.
But,
These people are horrid. They have no care for anyone else.
but did you
And
see the type of people that went there?
yeah,
What the fuck is that guy with the fucking wolf thing? It is. I'm like,
what's he called him? QAnon shaman or something he calls
I, don't-
himself.
yeah.
Fuck you.
I was looking like, first of all, who is the idiot that dresses like that and then goes to storm the Capitol?
As if he's some sort of Native American, that he's from that land. You're not. You're of
He's a
European background, pal.
he's a native idiot. That's what he is.
Yeah. But white people in America seem to forget that their origins are not from America. You come from Europe. Yeah. You're not from there. So if
But
you're talking, you keep all this talk of people going back to where they come from, maybe you should fucking take a leaf out of people's book and fuck off back to England, Scotland, Holland, fucking
look,
wherever else you come from. Fuck the
there's
bullshit. Stop the bullshit. This is the other thing I want to touch upon, Bruno. It's what I saw an NBA player talking about. I can't remember which one. If the colours of those people, those faces were different, it would have been a bloodbath. They would
They
have been
would.
opened fire upon before they got anywhere near climbing
Oh,
the walls.
riot police would
Yeah.
be there straight away.
And do you think Trump wouldn't have called in the National Guard long before he did?
Oh yeah, of
He
course.
held off on doing it. He called these people heroes. He said, "Now it's time to go home. We'll go again." You called for a terror. It needs to be given what it was. It was a terrorist attack.
This guy
Just
needs to
because the
be
faces
arrested.
are white, they got a lot of them got away with it.
Yeah, but I saw a lot of people saying that. Who else touched on that? John Jones from
Yeah,
MMA. He said if it was black people,
they
we
would have
would
been
be dead.
dead. They would have all
Yeah,
been shot down. They
yeah.
wouldn't have got anywhere near it. There was an images of police of a couple of police officers waving these people through.
Yeah,
They've
when they
obviously
were
lost their
going.
jobs. They've lost their jobs
Yeah,
now, naturally. But like I say, if and a lot of people won't agree with that statement, they won't. And I don't want to throw accusations around, but I would call it ignorance.
but
I mean,
Michael,
we don't
did you
come from
see
the we don't come from the environments of being downtrodden 24/7 based on how we look and having abuse hurled at us
one of the
daily.
things?
If those people were black, Hispanic, Asian,
They
they
would
would
be
have been
fine.
shot dead.
They would be done. That's no problem. It doesn't even mean it doesn't need to be black. It just
Yeah,
needs to be from a
just
different
not white.
background. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not white. You're fucked. But it killed me the fact that there's one of the footage where you see them going through the entrance of the Capitol, where you have all the metal detectors, and you have a fucking queue of police officers and security guys there, and they're just standing looking at them going through, and you see the metal detector going fucking mental, and I'm like, so are you gonna do something? If it was
yeah,
a black person running inside, you would shoot him in the head for sure.
yeah. Well, we'll move on from that as well. I mean, I just
No,
wanted to touch on it a little
just to
bit.
finish one thing there. People that went there, you saw. I think you probably saw it on social media and everything. People that are teachers, they have responsibilities with kids. What kind of image are they giving to
It's
the
people that
children?
work in authoritative positions,
But
but
what are
it's
they?
also but these are mothers, fathers.
How do they expect that the kids are gonna be brought up
Yeah.
in a normal condition if they see their parents going to Capitol Hill and
Well, how about
fucking
the
invaded?
students that they teach? If you've got a class full of diverse people from diverse backgrounds, and they look and see that your face was the one storming that, what are they going to think of their teacher?
I don't know, man.
They would have
It's
lost. I mean,
disgusting.
if they've been identified, they've all lost their jobs anyway. Fucking
Majority
too
of them
right.
did. Did you see the guy on? Just to finish this really quick, there was a guy on YouTube. He posted a video saying that the FBI and the CIA were actually requesting for information on the people that invaded the Capitol, and he made a video saying, "Look, guys, I don't want to be doing your work, but in 15 minutes, I found at least 20 people. Here are the addresses. Here are the profiles. If you need, hire me."
Yeah, but there's a lot of power on the internet. There's people that have tools and time that other agencies necessarily don't have.
Dude,
There's
we're
no
talking
doubt
about the FBI and the
yeah,
CIA.
but come on, listen, there's no doubt that they could do a better job. But one individual who can sit there for 6 hours has and
Yeah,
you've also got to think about the legal restrictions that some of these agencies have. They listen, I'm not backing them up anyway. I think that the FBI and the
do they
CIA
have
are the
restrictions?
most nefarious people of well. On home soil, they probably do, Bruno.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Outside, no. Outside, they don't give a shit.
yeah, but let's move on from that. We'll move on
Carry
to
on.
I mean, I think you saw more of this than I did, but you see the redditors that are basically crippling Wall Street.
Brother, I was thinking about buying stock. Are you kidding me? I had
Yeah.
my friends created a group on Discord only for that. So constantly, like 2 days, messages coming in. Buy this one. Buy this one. It's going down. It's going up. I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? I didn't know anything about this when I saw the group. I opened it. I start reading. I'm like, shit. There were hedge funds that were completely destroyed. And honestly, I'm gonna say this now. Well done for them to fucking them up. It
Yeah.
was good because those guys are sucking money from everyone. These guys just
The
fucked
only
them.
issue is there's a lot to it. There are a lot of people that aren't from these these hedge fund babies and people that are rich that have
Yeah, yeah.
stocks and shares in this and may have been relying on it, and they haven't just stuck it to the man. Let's be fair, they have stuck it to the little man as well.
Yeah, I know, but collateral damage, I guess.
Mm. Okay, Poirier versus McGregor. Did you watch the actual fight? Or did you watch the highlights?
No, no, no. I watched the fight. I was up until 5 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning
so
to watch it.
my body didn't
But
thank me the next day, but
no, me neither. Next day I was
I
right up.
thought, listen, it might have only lasted a round and a bit, but
It
it
was
was
good,
an
man.
incredible fight. The weird
First
thing
round
is,
was
first
amazing.
round McGregor looked good. For someone who's not fought in over a year,
It was the leg kicks. Those leg kicks.
yeah, we'll talk about, we'll get progressively onto the fight.
Yeah.
Dive straight into the result. But he looked good in the first round. He was landing. Poirier was landing as well, but McGregor was getting the better of the landing. The clinches against the cage,
He
he
won
was getting the
round
better
one.
of that. He won round one, but it was just that leg kick. I think, was it at the end of round one, that kick, or was it the start of the second?
It was at the end of round one
It was
that he
just that
landed two.
he kept throwing those kicks in round one and landing, but there was just one where you saw him buckle. I think it was round two.
He
You
was
saw McGregor buckle,
Yeah,
and that was
because you
it.
know what happened. He tried to check that kick.
Yeah.
But he caught it half
Yeah,
calf, half
his
bone.
leg wasn't fully planted
Yeah,
as he
and
went
that's
forward himself,
and
and
you
he
can
caught
see
him, and
when
that
the
buckled
round
him.
ends, when he's going to his corner, you can see him limping, and
Yeah.
you know he's fucked.
And it's when Poirier lands a couple of heavy ones, and you see him stumble. That's
Wobbling a
when
bit, yeah.
it's over. And I tell you what, it's good. I was disappointed to see McGregor lose. I do like McGregor, even with all his flaws. He is an
Yeah.
incredible fighter,
But the
and
way
he's a
he
showman.
behaved before and after,
Yeah, totally different. It was
amazing.
about showing respect to a good fighter, and I think the wider fight audience for fighting are going to give Poirier more respect than he was getting now anyway.
Oh yeah.
Because there would have been people out there that thought, oh, he's average, he's bang average.
He's not.
He's one of the best fighters,
And he
pound
won
for pound,
against one of the best in the world.
MMA.
Yeah.
The only problem was before is that he had the likes of McGregor and Khabib in front of him.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't. He's able to show and shine. It was against an out of form McGregor. It wasn't McGregor at his best,
Well,
but you have to be your best to beat the best. And even an out of form McGregor is a formidable opponent.
Oh yeah, if he catches you with a left, you're done.
And we're talking, Poirier's beaten all of them. Apart from Khabib, he's beaten all of them. He's beaten Gagey, he's beaten Holloway, he's beaten.
Pettis.
I think he's beaten Ferguson, has he?
Ferguson, Pettis, Gaethje.
At the moment, he's the best. And what he said after the fight, where if Khabib ain't coming back, I'm the champion. He's right.
Yeah. He said, "I'm the champion because I beat the champion, the best. I beat the best. Simple as that." But the thing is, apparently, there's already talks about doing
a
Poirier
third one
versus McGregor, the third one, so that they can have a 2-1.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good thing to do just to give it clarity.
I think that's going to be the title fight.
Yeah,
that
it have to be. Fight. Yeah, we'll move on from there, Bruno.
No, but wait, since we're in UFC, just to finish, what do you think is going to happen with Gilbert Burns against what's his name, the champion?
Adesanya.
No, the other one, the
Kamaru Usman.
Kamaru,
yeah. Burns is good. He's up and coming. It wouldn't be a shock to see him win.
But Kamaru is.
But I think Kamaru's got too much in his locker.
Yeah, I think so. He hasn't showed everything that he has hit.
No. And he's not really shown much weakness in his fights either.
Nothing. Even against Colby. Colby was going mad at him, and he's like, yeah, come on.
And you have to give Covington props for that fight as well. He survived a long time with a broken jaw. As much as I dislike the guy, he's a good fighter.
I hate him, but yeah. I agree.
Well, let's move on. Move on to stuff we've been watching lately. I've not really been watching much TV and stuff recently. I've been watching a bit, getting back into anime. I've watching the latest season of Attack on Titan. And there's a new one called Jujutsu Kaisen that's really, really good. Very popular as well. But I've been watching a lot of Twitch and live streamers on Twitch and YouTube.
Okay.
Go on. Yeah, give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Ryan. He's on Twitch as a streamer. His full thing is twitch.tv/collateral91. One of my other old friends, Vince, gifted me a sub to him. But I've been watching a bit of him recently, as well as some of my other favourites that I like on there with their good gameplay. I think maybe we'll put a link for his Twitch in our description if we can.
We should be able to.
But he's got a Discord as well for creators. He was telling me about.
Who, Ryan?
Yeah, so he's telling me about promoting the podcast in there. I need to get onto his Twitter and get his Discord.
Yeah, I have Discord now as well.
But he's been doing that. It's something that I'm looking to try and get into. I'm going to basically get a new PC. Or get someone to build it for me. There's a company. I've worked it out, Bruno. There's a company that does it called Cyberpower PCs.
Mm-hmm.
It's to do it with them isn't really going to be any more expensive than doing it myself. And obviously, professionals who are going to follow the correct standards that I probably wouldn't, trying to cut corners.
Probably would not. Yeah, I know.
So I'll probably get them to build me a new one. Save up for that.
Call Henry Cavill. He probably will do it for you since it's his pasta.
Yeah, I saw him doing that. But
man, what a nerd! That guy is really a nerd, man.
Yeah, I look to do that myself anyway. But what have you been watching recently, Bruno?
Uh, when I have some free time off work, I've been watching a lot of movies and TV shows. I watched a recent one. Have you heard about Outside the Wire with Anthony Mackie, where
I've
he
heard of it.
plays a
Yeah,
cyborg? It's
yeah.
actually good. It's actually really good. The premise behind everything, it's interesting. I don't want to say too much because I cannot, otherwise I'll tell you the entire movie in one go.
Just give me
I
the
started.
synopsis. Give me the IMDb synopsis.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give it to you. I watched also. I started watching a TV show on Netflix. I know you don't like it because of the person that presents it, but
Yeah,
the history of swear words, which
a lot of
is,
people have told me it's quite good. To be fair,
it's really good, and he behaves like a lunatic while he's presenting it, but it's
well,
actually,
he is a fucking lunatic.
well, Nicolas Cage's, I watched Death to 2020, which
Yeah,
for
I
me
watched that. That was
was
good. Yeah.
really, really good, really good. And I'm waiting for a few things to come out. I'm waiting for The Witcher to come out. It should come out this year.
Yeah, new series of that would be good. Did you ever play the game? I know
Yeah,
we've spoken
a
about this
long, a
before. I
long
think.
time ago. A long time
Yeah.
ago, I used to play it.
Well, there's three of them, but the latest one's really good.
No, no, no. I haven't played the latest one. Even on games, the only games that I've been playing, it's literally FIFA
I'll tell you
21.
what games. Actually, yeah, I was meant to speak about games I've been playing. Actually, I've been trying to play a few different games recently. I've never really played FPS games. I've never really been good with them, but I'm trying to get used to keyboard and mouse gameplay because I'm so used to consoles. So I've been playing a game called Destiny 2.
Destiny
You
2,
guys heard of?
it's actually good.
Oh, it's a
I played
really
it.
good game.
I played it on
It's not got a
PlayStation.
huge following, um, but I'm actually really enjoying it. Visually, it's brilliant. The gameplay seems fun. I've been enjoying it so far. But I'll tell you what, I was going to speak to you about that actually because I think they're introducing cross-platform play on it this year at some point.
Oh, really? That's
So if
interesting.
you if sometime later on this year, I think they're hoping to do that. So if you can get it on your
On PlayStation.
PlayStation, we can then play together, obviously cross-platform.
Okay, I'm actually saving to buy the PlayStation 5 anyways.
Yeah,
I want to buy it in a couple of months
but
maximum.
we can hopefully do that, and maybe we can look at a few because there are. I think obviously Call of Duty's cross-platform, so maybe we can look to have a couple of games of that because I think it's free to play at the moment, or it was. But I'm not never really been into Call of Duty, but if we can during lockdown sit and play video games together,
It
then
depends. It depends on which Call of Duty.
or the latest one, Warzone, I think it
War
is it?
that one will not be bad. World War Two is actually good, but I don't want the futuristic ones. I
No, no, no.
fucking hate them.
We'll just find whichever one we can play together basically during
Yeah, yeah.
lockdown, just to entertain us a bit because it is more fun playing games with
Well,
your
you will
friends.
have you will have a better advantage playing Call of Duty if you're playing it in a keyboard and mouse
Yeah.
than me playing on a.
Well, I was still getting used to the fucking
For me, it was
WASD, but
that's how I grew up because the first PlayStation that I actually had was when I moved to the UK 7 years ago. I never had a PlayStation. I used to play everything
yeah,
on computer. So the first time I tried to play Call of Duty in PlayStation, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Because I was used to play Counter Strike, everything
yeah.
online, and with mouse and keyboard, it's much easier to
For
play.
aiming, yeah, for aiming and getting those headshots a
It's
lot better, a
mate,
lot
as soon
easier,
as you
yeah,
have the
because
mouse in your
you're
hand, you
basically
just
in
ta ta.
complete control.
So
But it's more the movement and moving your guy around that I'm trying to get used to. I'm fine with the mouse and clicking and getting the shots away, but it's more the movement and knowing, obviously, because you don't want to just run and gun because you're just going to get picked off.
yeah,
So you want to know how, like, I need to get into cover, I need to move now. I'm getting shot down,
strategy,
Yeah,
get lower.
yeah. So I'm trying to get more used to that. So, but yeah, well, hopefully we'll try and get a few more of that.
No, we can
What
actually
was
do
one
that.
of the other? There's a game you remember when I spoke to you before about Zelda Breath of the Wild on the
Yeah.
Switch, how brilliant it was and beautiful it was. Similar type of game in terms of visuals and gameplay, but a sort of online multiplayer game is Genshin Impact.
I heard about that. I never
It
played it.
I've only started playing it a little bit, but it looks good. It feels good. It's that sort of Japanese art style. It seems like a really fun game. So I'm
It's
trying
actually good.
played a little bit of that recently.
I need to
Hopefully get
find
more into that.
I need to find more time to dedicate to games because
Yeah.
work is getting really tight. And
What we
when I
want to do,
finish work,
because on your Mac, I think you can. We've spoken about Among Us before. I think you can get that on Mac. If we can
probably I'll
try and
have
get
to
a
double
group of
check.
people, maybe some of your Portuguese guys as well, Hulk or the other guys that
Yeah,
would be interested in playing.
that those games are
It's only I
actually
think
good.
it's only like £4 to play that game. It's such a popular game. It's
No,
so fun. But
we
there's a
can
couple
actually
of
try it.
mods they've brought out now with proximity chat. Remember I told you about that before with that Phasmophobia game.
That should be interesting.
It's so I watch some of the YouTubers play it and the Twitch players. It's so funny. So it'd be good to play that with a couple of friends if we can get a lobby of people together. That would
Especially
be
if
good
you
as
play
well.
with those top lads that will make you crease in
Yeah,
the middle of the games.
yeah,
You know, I've been watching on recently. I decided to have a go at TikTok, like everyone goes there and sees, and I found a group where people are just playing games, and they spend their time just telling shit jokes during the. Oh my goodness, it's I've heard things there like a guy going to a group of friends all playing, and he goes like, "Guys, if I was going through a rough patch, you guys would be there for me." And
yeah.
everyone goes
I
like,
saw that
"No,
one.
no,
Fuck no.
fuck no. I would love that you came to me so that I
Yeah.
could ignore you."
That's
And the
the you know the guy who he goes Gucci belt on
yeah,
when I'm fucking my sister.
you know what's the one that kills me is at the end. There's a guy that comes in and he goes like, "Oh man, I would love to go to your funeral knowing that I could have avoided that."
Yeah, I'd love to go to your funeral knowing that I could have prevented it. It's fucking. I was creasing. They've got it's a guy, I can't remember the guy's name on YouTube, but it's him and his friends that do it. And
Fucking
they've got
hilarious.
they got like the highlights compilations that they do of that stuff is so funny.
And the ones
But
that do
yeah,
like prank calls in the middle of the
yeah.
game, and
But
when he goes,
if we can get a group, I mean, if anyone listening who's interested in playing Among Us with us,
yeah,
let us know. We can
I've
get a
just
lobby together.
I just remembered of another one. There's a kid playing one of the games with a guy that's much older, and he said something like, "Oh, does your mom know that you're this or that?" And the guy replies to the kid, "Huh, does your mom knows you're playing with a sexual predator?" I'm like, what the fuck?
But do you know the problem with that is like those are funny because it's a guy trolling public lobbies.
Yeah,
But the reason why I haven't really played Among Us in public lobbies or other games in public lobbies, mate, because they are fucking toxic. It's horrific. Some of the things that get banded around in them, mate. The
yeah,
racism, the horrific things of threats that they put towards women and stuff like that. It's horrible, mate. And I hate playing in that type of environment with people like that.
yeah.
You want to play a game to enjoy it. You want to play games with your friends to enjoy it, and you want to be able. If you're playing a game like Call of Duty on your own and you lose every time you get headshotted constantly, it's fucking horrid. It's miserable. But if you're playing with friends, having a laugh, and it keeps happening, it automatically makes it funny.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
That's
like I
definitely.
say, if there is anyone that listens to this that plays Among Us and wants to join us and can get us even more people to play, let us know. That'd
Because
actually
the
be
the
really
thing
good.
is, it's not for the game. It's just for the
Yeah, it's
laugh
the
that
fun
you're
of it.
gonna have
Yeah,
doing it. Man. It's absolutely insane. I
yeah,
fucking love those things to be in a group chat with someone playing a game, and someone
yeah.
just shits an opinion that you're like, whoa, what's this?
Or just someone does something in the game that is so fucking ridiculous. Yeah. All right, Bruno, let's move on to the news section then, mate. You got some news for us?
Oh yeah, let's start with let's start with a nice one. Nice. A man spotted the fake taxi while outside walking with his pal.
Is that in the Czech Republic? They film that, don't they?
Yeah, but this was here. This was here.
Oh, here.
So a TikTok user clocked someone's spoof fake taxi because at the end of the day, it was not actually fake
Oh,
taxi.
okay.
While on a walk with his friend, but then they were able to manage. They managed to track the owner of the taxi actually. So this guy was on a walk with his friend, and they spotted a black cab in distance. And on the side, you can see "fake taxi" written
Yeah.
down on the side. And they just went to the taxi, took some pictures, and after the clip went viral, the car owners got in touch saying like, "Oh, it's not Big John, it's just me, Dave." And the guy is trying to sell the cab. He just bought it for fun once one day, and now he's trying to
It's
get
one of
rid of
those
it.
drunken purchases, isn't it? It's when you come home drunk, you're just scrolling through like Facebook Marketplace or
Well,
something or eBay.
let's think about this. This is something that Jay would actually buy by
Yeah,
himself drunk.
he actually would. Shout out to Jay, the maniac. But yeah,
uh
so I saw an interview with the guy who owns that company that does all the fake taxi and the fake other
yeah,
stuff. They
Big
filmed
John.
that all. They filmed that all in Czech Republic.
Really? I
Yeah,
thought they did it here as well.
no, maybe they've done a couple here, but
Well,
also cameras keeps focusing.
I don't know. Mine does the same. The porn
Um,
industry game is strong in Czech Republic,
yeah.
apparently.
Well, yeah. I tell you what, if you can try and find this news story that I saw, speaking of the Czech Republic, I think there was an armed robbery in Eastern Europe somewhere.
Hmm.
I don't know if it was Serbia, and a Czech woman sucked the guy off until police got there, distracted him by giving him a blowjob. Try and find that link. Yeah, I can't remember whereabouts it was, but something that stuck out was the fact that she's from the Czech Republic. But
Woman gives armed robber blowjob
yeah,
to
there you go.
distract him. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Let me try to read this. The woman gave an armed robbery blow gives an armed robbery blowjob to distract him until the police arrives. Where was this? A potential thief is said to have rushed into a Bratislava train station late Tuesday night.
Slovakia.
Yeah. So a gas station robber was arrested after a mysterious woman had oral sex to distract him until police arrived. The potential thief is said to have rushed into a train station in Bratislava, the capital of Slovakia, before demanding cash from a horrifying sales assistant late Tuesday night.
Horrified sales assistant.
Yeah, but they put horrifying. That's what I was thinking. Like,
The
who the
sales assistant was horrifying.
I think that's what they were trying to say in Bratislava. He was then said to have helped himself by hitting the face of a male staff member. Okay. Then the 24-year-old woman was said to have chased him and demanded more cash from the vault when the 36-year-old Czech woman appeared and decided to stop him in a way called abnormal way. Okay, I didn't know there was. By the time the police arrived, they found the pair lying half naked on the ground. The suspect was arrested after a brief struggle and taken to the police station after the incident. To view this video, please enable. Oh, I don't want to watch the video.
Yeah, I don't think you
Uh,
do, mate.
but look, honestly, it's a creative way. Stop crime. Not all heroes wear
Yeah, but
capes, mate.
why was that her first thought?
Mate, I don't know.
And why did he accept it?
He's a man.
Yeah, but come on, you're in the middle of an armed robbery. A woman goes, "I'll tell you what, mate.
I'll
Whilst you're
suck
doing
you off.
this, do you want a blowjob?"
Yeah, yeah,
Why would you just be like, "Actually, yeah, I quite
yeah.
like a blowjob."
I could get
Surely
with
you
one
just
of
be
those.
like, I need to fucking get out of it."
He looks at the clock. Yeah. How long do you think the police will take to come here? Maybe 10 minutes.
Don't know.
Okay, we have time. We have time. We
She's
have enough.
died. She's fucking died in the police as she's doing it. Here's a news story I saw, a bit more of an uplifting one. Um, did you see that city in Germany that installed those like futuristic pods for homeless people
Yeah,
to stay safe during the winter? Oh,
that's
I
actually
think
a really
the
good one.
city's called. It's such a good idea. Obviously, it doesn't solve the issue. It doesn't stop it being an issue, but it's such a good thing to actually do to help people in such a dire situation at least stay warm during these horrible winter months. I was really impressed with that. At least
um,
the thought and care of it as well, because there's a
yeah,
lot
no,
of cities that would just be like, "Fuck it, don't care."
a lot of countries
They've
wouldn't
got
even
homeless
give a
shelters,
fuck
let them
about it.
go there. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
I have another
go on.
one here for you. A British woman was arrested in Dubai after sending a message to her housemate with a swear word. The housemate went to the police and the woman was arrested. One swear word, mate. They had an argument
That
and she
place is
sent a
fucked.
swear
That
word.
place is fucked, bro.
Yeah.
I don't see the thrill of going there personally.
So
People are
basically,
obsessed with it.
but see how this went. She sent that the argument happened 8 months ago, more or less. Nothing happened. So her visa was about to expire. So she shipped all her shit back to England, and she went to the airport to fly. And when she got to the airport, she got arrested. They didn't allow her to fly.
What's happened to her then? Is she still in custody?
She's still in custody. The She tried to speak with her housemate to get the to drop the case, but she doesn't want to. She got offended.
Fucking some people are proper cunts, mate.
And you know what's the problem? The person, her housemate, is European. She's not even from Dubai. So it's someone taking advantage of the Dubai law just to fuck another
That's fucked.
European.
That is disgusting.
Yeah.
I've got a news story for you here, Bruno. This is very much going to be of interest to you. Um, a study has found that mangrove tree extract could help tackle baldness.
But mate, that's too. That's gone. That's gone. Forget that part.
Researchers in Thailand believe mangrove tree extract could help tackle baldness. The extract, called Avisequinone C, was found to stop the body producing the hormones that result in hair loss. Might help you grow it back, mate. Thought you'd be well interested in that. Clearly not. What else have you seen? You've got that one about Poland.
Yeah, the Poland abortion, and I have a few more. But here, yeah, Poland's top court has ruled that abortion in cases of fetal defects are unconstitutional. But why? If the fetus is already fucked, why do you need to bring that child into the world, man? Someone that will have to be cared until the end of his days.
What gives men the right to think that they can tell women what to do with their bodies? It's such a big topic, and I don't really think we can necessarily do it justice. But those are my thoughts on it. Why do the government, men in the government, men in suits, think that they have the right to tell women what they can and can't do
Yeah,
with their body?
they say Poland had the strictest abortion rules in Europe, and now you can only have an abortion if you have been raped, if it's incest,
Hmm.
or if the mother's health is at risk.
So at least
What's
there are some things in it, because let's be
Yeah,
honest, there's a lot of places when they were talking about it in America, things like rape weren't going to come into account.
but
So you would
come
have been
on,
raped and had to raise the child of your
that's
rapist every day, look into the face of them almost. And even if you grew to love that child eventually, whether you did it straight away or it took a long time, that that man still has rights over that child.
yeah,
And that person would be in your life forever. So not only would the physical damage that they've already done to your body be piled on, the mental lifelong lasting mental damage that comes from being exposed to something so horrific, you then pile on that person's trauma by having that person in their life forever.
yeah, I know. But in this case, look, so they banned the fetus malformation termination, but according to them, 98% of the legal abortions carried out in Poland are due to fetal malformations. So,
So they're suggesting that they're preventing people from killing children just by having a disability or a.
but the thing is, a child with a disability, you're going to have to take care of it until the end of your life. Then you die, and that child will still remain back. Who
I
the
mean,
fuck is going to
whilst
take?
it's a fetus, it should be the choice of the parents
Of
first.
course, but
You know,
it's
it should be up to them. If they decide to have the child and you know spend their life looking after them, that's their choice.
and you have women being denied abortions because of the pandemic as well.
Mm.
That's oh god. Well, let's carry on. I found another one. A TV weatherman dives into the ocean after a live report to pull a body from the water. So the guy was doing a normal, you know, TV show, news show, and he fucking drops the microphone to the floor, takes the clothes off, runs inside the
Mate,
water,
what a fucking legend!
and saves someone.
Saved their life.
Yeah, this was where was this? Australia.
We've got his name,
Luke Bradnam.
Luke Bradnam. You absolute legend. You hero. Well
He went,
done.
yeah, he rushed into the waves of the Gold Coast moments after finishing a piece to the camera
Shark
when he
infested
noticed,
waters.
yeah, when he noticed that a swimmer was in distress. And
Mate, that takes a lot and to do it instinctively.
and
Fair play, man.
the camera guy captured everything while
Yeah,
he was the
that's
camera guy
even
was
that's
filming
brilliant.
everything.
That's
Jesus
amazing, mate.
Christ.
Well done to that guy.
Wow. Jesus. Well, let's start with good one that's actually on a good note. Apparently, this is important for all of us here in England. Pubs are set to reopen in May without 10 p.m. curfews, according to the reports.
Okay,
I really hope that's my birthday gift.
it isn't going to happen, mate. Don't believe that for a second.
Me neither. Yeah, but apparently, Bojo order the simplification of rules.
It isn't going to happen.
I think he wants
He's
to go
only
to the
done.
pub.
First of all, he's only doing that because he's been under immense pressure from his own party to end lockdown or at least lift the restrictions. It's the only reason he's doing it. But I don't see it happening.
Yeah, fuck this shit. Let's go to Isle of Man. Pubs are open there.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll let us in, mate. With your track record.
Well, what about yours? And let's end these news with, for me, which is the funniest thing I've ever seen, those chaotic council meetings that we saw
Wow,
this week.
what a fucking ride that was! What a roller coaster.
What the fuck was that, man? Honestly, what was that?
Jackie Wheeler, is that her name?
Yeah, Jackie Wheeler.
Read them and understand them.
What did he say? She banned him. She banned him.
She's banned him.
How the man? I don't.
We've called this meeting illegally. What
You
is
don't
it?
need
He's
another
like,
chairman.
shut your mouth. Stop doing whatever
What
it
you
is you're
doing?
being.
You don't know. You don't know anything you're talking about.
And then the guy at the end, I want to first of all offer my support to Mrs. Jackie Wheeler for banning him. He's an absolute disgrace.
Oh my god, this is
Incredible.
So she banned.
Some of the memes that have come from it are brilliant as well.
She kicked him out and then she left him waiting on the virtual waiting room without accepting him into the meeting.
He came in just firing though. He came in angry.
He was going mad.
First of all, he had a really high voice, I remember. First of all, I'd like to say that this is an illegal meeting.
He said that at least 5 times
Yeah.
before he was sent out of the meeting.
But it's funny because one of them later on, they're like, "We've scheduled this meeting," and he goes, "You call yourself a chairman? You've cancelled this meeting for the last 5 months or something."
Yeah. But the thing is, somebody says, "Oh, if it was a normal meeting, they would have been sacked." It's a normal meeting, you fucking idiot. Even though it's done through
Fucking mad.
Zoom.
It's just local. It's local council, isn't it?
It's oh my
Fucking
God.
hilarious, mate. I posted that on Facebook. Like I say, I don't really use Facebook much, but I just said, if for anyone around the world wondering what British politics is like, this is exactly it. Chaos.
Just transfer this into the House of Commons, and it's the same thing, but
Yeah.
face to face. And you cannot kick anyone out, which is
Well, the
not
Speaker
bad.
of the House can.
Order. Order. He's not there anymore, right? It's now the other guy.
Yeah.
I'm so sad, man. That guy was the highlight of those.
He got in trouble, I think, didn't he? I don't remember what for. I'll tell you what, we can't avoid this subject, Bruno. The accusations of grooming and abuse from Marilyn Manson against Marilyn Manson. Have you heard about it?
Not really. I haven't dedicated
No,
my
it's
time.
his ex fiance, the actor from Westworld. I can't remember her name, but she's levied abuse accusations against him as well as 4 other women. Apparently,
Really?
he's been doing it for years. He was grooming her when she was a teenager, all sorts of stuff. He's been dropped by his record label because of it. So it doesn't look good for him.
Accused
obviously-
of grooming offences.
I think a reason I want to speak to you about it is, and I think you probably say you were a fan of his music, maybe you still are.
Yeah.
What do you make of it? I mean, this is someone that you've enjoyed listening to their music, an artist that you enjoy, and it looks like he's a filthy, disgusting.
It's a fucking
Cunt.
disgrace. It's a fucking disgrace, man. Her name
I mean,
is Evan Rachel Wood.
Yeah, that's it. But I don't want to. It hasn't been proven yet. You know,
Yeah,
there
she claims he groomed her as a teenager and
Yeah,
brainwashed her
and
into submission.
there is an element of innocent until proven guilty. But when you've got a fairly substantial group of women coming forward and saying it's happened, with especially over the last few years of all these people that have been exposed to have done it, it doesn't look good. And it's just this thing of people in a position of a level of fame, a level of power, and what they do with it is pretty frightening. It makes you wonder how many more.
Okay, but you know, I didn't know about this. In 2009, in an interview with the music magazine Spin, he made the following comment: "I have fantasies every day about smashing her skull in with a sledgehammer." What the fuck?
That's what I mean. And people can go through all of his interviews and probably pick out telltale signs. You'll have experts that do that. But it does make you wonder how many more of these people in these positions are doing this.
Jesus Christ. They
because he's not the
released an album.
first.
They released a fucking album a few months ago, a new one. It's a disgrace,
I
man.
think what
Because
worries me more is there are going to be. We don't know if this is going to be proven to be true or not. It doesn't look good,
no, it doesn't
and
at all.
we're not going to dismiss these people's claims because there's no proving them wrong.
Think about the other people that
Yeah,
had claims against them before.
I'm
Harvey
personally
Weinstein,
in no doubt that
R. Kelly.
their claims are 100% true.
This goes.
I'm in full support of these women. The issue is the fans of these artists. There are people that are going to be so blind that refuse
Oh,
to
a lot
accept
of
it,
people will refuse.
and
Yeah.
worse than that, direct abhorrent abuse towards these women.
Oh yeah, on social media that's gonna go
And
bad.
those people are really dangerous. They have a really dangerous mentality that just because you enjoy his music and you like him as an artist, him doing these things is excusable.
Of course not. If he's a piece of shit, he's a piece
Yeah.
of shit. Simple as that. How many do you see people that somehow you actually looked up to them? Whether oh, this guy good actor like this. What's the name of Kevin Spacey?
Yeah. Prime
Fucking
example.
amazing actor. And then he fucks up. It's not because he was just an amazing actor that I'm gonna say, oh no, I don't believe. I'm gonna now
Yeah.
slander everyone else. Fuck that. He's a piece of shit. Simple as that.
Well, you see, Michael Jackson's probably the biggest example of it.
I
There are
didn't
people
even
that
want to
there's
bring
people
that
that
one.
won't even besmirch him for
Dude,
stuff that's been proven to be correct.
even the monkey ran away.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's horrid, and if
But
it's just
you know what?
it's worrisome that people in these positions are able to get away with stuff like this for so
But
long.
You know
It
what
takes an
worries me.
immense amount of bravery from these women
Of course, it
to
does.
come
But
out.
you know what's worrying me more is that day by day, more and more cases of this are coming up with well-known people, and you think like, what the fuck, man? Wait, it cannot be only a problem with the industry. Now, the thing is, these people are so out there. You see these cases, and it reach all the world. But imagine on a daily basis, people that you don't know from fuck all, the amount of shit that goes in this world.
The
These
other issue,
ones,
the other major issue is that within this industry, there are people enabling this. There are people
and
that work with him and for him, with record agencies, and with these music uh, magazines and stuff like that that enable this kind of behavior and turn a blind eye to it. You see it with the likes of Weinstein and what's his name,
R. Kelly was the
R.
same
Kelly.
shit.
What about the other guy who the Netflix documentary about him?
Which one? You have so many. You have Surviving R. Kelly. That's one of them. You have Weinstein, Michael Jackson. I
No, the
don't.
one with Prince Andrew.
Fuck, I forgot his name as well. But we know what you're talking about. I forgot his name.
Yeah, there's people that enable it and turn a blind eye, and
It's not only the fact that they enable. They probably. I don't.
participate.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. They participate in that shit. Come on. In Portugal, we had a pedophilia case a long, long time ago, where even the prime minister was involved in that
Mhm.
shit. And they were doing it, getting the kids from how do you call it? From those institutions where the kids go because they have no parents, they're
Orphanage.
orphans,
Yeah.
and they were getting them from there, taking them to private parties
Yeah, do you
in
know what
the
I mean?
middle of
It's
nowhere,
as if these children haven't had the worst possible fucking start to life.
and then they'd still need to
As
be
if they couldn't be any
raped
more
by
vulnerable.
fucking adults.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And it goes
No,
on all over the place. And there's, like you say, more and more of it is being exposed.
yeah,
It's a good thing that it's been exposed, but it's horrifying how many people are involved.
it's horrifying, and it's also a problem because you don't know how much is going on.
Yeah.
Because it's not only this. This is just the tip of the iceberg. In Portugal, when they did that, they arrested a shit ton of people, but the main witness mysteriously died.
Well, we'll move on from that subject. We should probably talk about football. We haven't spoken about football for a long time on this podcast, to be
Man,
fair.
football is going
Um,
crazy everywhere.
but the first thing we'll talk about is the fact that racism is rearing its ugly head again. There's racist abuse now been directed recently against Marcus Rashford, Reece James, Axel Tuanzebe of Manchester United, Anthony Martial, Romain Sawyers of West Brom, and another guy from Southampton, 18-year-old kid, has been subject to it.
It doesn't
And
matter.
there was a question of is there the battle against it on social media is being lost, and how do they possibly hope to tackle it? do they get people? There was a suggestion. I think I can't remember who suggested it a while ago that maybe people should have to put in their passport number or their driving license number, their ID number when they sign up to these accounts, so that
Probably.
they're traceable. But then there's an element of how is that then going to be used by these companies that hold that data?
I know.
You look at Facebook are looking to sell your data already if you're on WhatsApp. How are they then going to use that data and sell that on? And how when that's hacked, because it's hacks all the time, and your data is exposed with your passport number, your driving license number, and that gets cloned and there was stuff all over the world. There's a worry with that. But then how are they possibly hoping to tackle this? Because it's torrential the amount of people you see doing it. And there was the kid that done it to Ian Wright, a guy from Ireland,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
a kid. He got let off on good behaviour. The judge said, oh, because he's apologised and he seems remorseful, nothing's come of it.
He seems remorseful.
What sort of message does that send to the people out there thinking of doing it or doing it,
But
that you can just get away with it even
listen
when you get fucking prosecuted and you go to court and you're in court for it, you can get away with it.
First of all, again, he's white. Yeah. Second of all, of course he's gonna show remorse. He's in front of a fucking judge. He's gonna do everything that he can to show them that he doesn't deserve to be arrested or to go doing communal or anything. Obviously, the kid is gonna say, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm a kid. I did it, but it was just for
Yeah.
fun."
Oh look, I said,
Fuck off.
and his lawyers would have said, "Oh, send a letter of apology to Mr. Ian Wright," and he'd have done it. And because he's done that, the lawyers know what they're doing.
The thing is, there was a time that you would hear people saying, "What's the solution for racism? Stop talking about it." That clearly didn't work. That
Well,
clearly
stop.
didn't work.
That would never have fucking worked because people don't. Just because people aren't talking about it doesn't mean that behind
It
closed
doesn't
doors these
exist.
cunts aren't getting into their little gaggles of groups and doing and discussing it and planning horrible shit.
And then, what's the solution? You cannot arrest
Expose
everyone.
it. The solution is talking about it and exposing it.
Yeah,
And I tell you what, the main solution is when you fucking get hold of one of these little cunts,
fucking better.
prosecute them, give them real fucking jail time, which will potentially ruin their life.
And
And then they can
others will
fucking,
start thinking.
and others will start seeing, oh shit, this is what can happen to me.
Yeah, but until
Trace
you have
these
a
people.
firm
All
hand,
these people are traceable. You can trace these people through IPs, Bruno,
IP
where
addresses.
they're
Yeah.
accessing it, where they're from. And even if you can't pinpoint an exact location or a device, you can find a local area and you can trace these fucking accounts to others.
Of course, man. It's not a problem. But the thing is, until you have a firm hand on this, when people actually think, and like you said, when it starts being prosecuted properly as a fucking crime, actual crime, not a hate crime,
Yeah.
crime, a proper fucking
Not just
crime.
turning around and saying, "Oh, this is illegal, don't do it," and then when people do it, slap on the wrist.
No, it
You
has to be
fucking
like,
taking a piss.
you are a racist. You are a racist.
Imagine
Okay,
imagine
10
the other
years in
way.
prison.
Let's think of another crime, for example, GBH. If you go out and stab someone on the street multiple times to a point where they're in a very bad way and need hospital treatment, and the police turn around and the prosecutors turn around and say, because you said sorry and you seem remorseful,
I
we'll
will
give you
let
a
you go.
slap on the wrist. Just don't do it again, okay? Imagine how quickly the world would deteriorate.
Like that's the same. That's the same thing. That's saying that killing someone will be
Yeah.
allowed.
And there needs to be genuine prosecutions for it. When you get hold of these people, you've got them, you've got their names, you know who they are. Do something about it. Do more.
But you know
It's
what?
not acceptable to just say, oh, he seemed sorry. And even if he was sorry and regretted it and realized what I did was wrong and I don't really believe this, it doesn't matter. They
You
need to
did
be
it.
fucking punished.
You did it. Somebody that says, "Oh, I stabbed someone, but I did it by mistake. I didn't
Yeah.
want to." But yeah, but you still killed someone.
There's people that end up accidentally killing someone and regret it for the rest of their lives, but they're in prison for a reason because they've done something wrong. They've
You know
committed an
what?
atrocious act.
You know what you should do. This that's the thing. This needs to be treated as an actual crime with an actual fucking huge penalty for it. You need to go to jail.
Yes.
And these cases, I'm sorry for what I'm gonna say, but they should be dealt in a very specific way. They should be sent into a jail where there would be the only white person.
Well, that doesn't solve the issue. That you're then creating more extremism. That person is
Yeah,
going to
because
come
that
out with
person
an
is gonna
even more deep-seated hatred for the
no
people of that
that
color.
that person will not come out. That person will die for sure.
Well,
That's
exactly.
the
But
problem.
then, what is that a solution?
No,
Killing them?
it's not the solution, but sometimes that's the only way that people
Education
are
is
actually.
a primary source of correcting someone's incorrect way of thinking.
But how the
Okay,
fuck will that come? Because racism is
education and
actually
exposure,
racism is instituted. You know the word. I'm not English.
institutionalized. Yeah, but on
Institutionalized
a smaller
in the
level, when you're
society.
talking about an individual, you can easily expose them and educate them.
Yeah, but what about his fucking circle of friends and family if they all are? Do you think he's gonna be the
Same with
one
them.
teaching them?
You do the same. Community outreach and stuff like that. There's things that people can do, but the first and foremost thing is if someone's committed a crime and you deem it a crime they've gone to a court to have to be defended against, they should have an outcome where that crime is clear and they admit guilt, the jail time, full stop.
I think people should actually watch that movie with Edward Norton
But
several
American
times.
History X,
Yeah, several times, several
yeah,
times. Like, because the problem is now racism is everywhere, man. It's not. The problem is that this has grown to a point where before it was just racism between white people and other colored people, but this has gone to a point where the revolt is so big from the other people as well that it's starting to come back. Also, like me, I can be racist to someone black or brown, whatever, but that person will also be racist towards someone white because someone white was racist to them, so they're going to think, oh no, fuck this, this is normal, I'm going to be racist to this cunt as well.
yeah. But again,
And this is a snowball, this is a fucking
that's down to
snowball.
the individuals, isn't it? I think people, anyone with a clear way of thinking, a clear mentality, clear exposure to other cultures, and understanding and
It is.
education of what make of people will know that skin color doesn't make you any different.
I know, but for example, I see the difference in one way. When I came to England 7 years ago, it wasn't like this, man. In 7 years, it fucking escalated to a point that it's ridiculous. And you lived here all your life.
The
You
problem,
can
the
see the
problem,
difference even more.
the problem is, Bruno, you didn't see it because you wouldn't have. That's not something you would have seen. As you became acclimatized to the culture, you become more aware of it.
Yeah.
That's the standard. That's the difference. First coming here, you wouldn't have had any preconceived notion
No,
of there
no,
being
no,
that
no,
sort of thing.
nothing.
And it would have taken you a long time to acclimatize yourself to the culture and get settled yourself to even start thinking about the wider world. So you wouldn't have seen it. It's been this way for years. There is always going to be people like it, but now they've been in a position where they could do something about it and genuinely get one of these people in prison for a crime they committed, and they didn't take it.
Yeah. And use it as an example. Make an example out of it.
But let's move on to other subjects of football. I suppose we should definitely talk about Frank Lampard sacking from Chelsea as a Chelsea fan.
It
We
was
did
coming,
speak
man.
about it privately, and I've told you
Yeah.
what I feel about it. At the time, I was upset. Of course, I was. He's a legend to the club as a player, and I wanted him to succeed, as I do with every manager that they
But
bring in.
he's fresh as a manager.
Yeah, but he knew the job he was going into. He was going to a club where they don't give managers time and they get rid of you when they think things are going wrong.
Yeah,
It's
he knew
what's
the
made
risk.
them. It's made them incredibly successful.
He knew the risk and he take it.
The
He
only
took it.
issue, I think, there's a lot of fans with issue hatred towards the club and the owner because of it. You need to think about it without this emotional head that you have
Of course.
on Frank Lampard being a legend. His legacy as a player isn't tarnished. He will always be a legend. It didn't work out as a manager. The only thing I would say against the board and the owner is I think they use him as a bit of a moxie. They brought him in because they knew it would get the fans back on side because the fans were very divided
Yeah.
from the ownership and the board after Maurizio Sarri, and a lot of split feelings towards him. I think they used that, getting Frank Lampard in as that. He wasn't ready for it. He'd managed for 1 year. He needed more. He needed more work at lower level and work his way up.
Yeah. The only
I'm
way
sure he'll go on to be successful. He's got an incredible footballing mind. You can
he'll
see
be
that.
back. He'll be
Yeah,
back someday. He'll be
but it
back.
was right. It was the right thing to do. They were spiraling.
Yeah, yeah.
At one point, they were second in the table, off one point or first, looking all good.
Then seventh.
Then suddenly everything's changed. The players aren't playing, and they've gone to shit. Something had to change. I must admit, at the time, I wasn't too confident about Tuchel. I didn't really know much about him. I only really knew him
Amazing
from
coach.
PSG, and
Amazing.
as I looked more into his, researched him a bit more and more, looked into how good he was for Mainz, especially,
I
as
seen
well as
him.
Borussia Dortmund.
I seen him from Mainz when Mainz started playing. I used to. I still watch a lot of German football
Yeah,
because I love Dortmund.
when it's on BT Sport, I watch it.
Yeah, I love Dortmund. So I started watching and I started seeing Mainz when he was there. Mainz was playing incredible football.
Well, he took him from what was a team battling relegation every year to
Yeah,
Europe, and now they're a pretty steady mid-table German
yeah.
team.
And then he went to Dortmund with almost no players at
Yeah.
Dortmund at that time. He
Well,
made
he
an
got, yeah,
amazing.
he took over from Klopp, didn't he? But that was at the point where all of their players, their top players, had moved onto other clubs.
But you have that's the thing. You have really good coaches there. You know the guy from Red Bull.
Oh,
Uh,
Nagelsmann.
yeah, he's a good coach. Huh?
Yeah,
I would like to see him in a bigger team, not in Germany, but in some other country,
I'm
just
sure
to
he
see
will
how it
soon.
goes.
It's only a matter of time, isn't it? If he keeps them at the top at the level they're at,
He's what?
it's
He's
only
the
a matter of
youngest.
time.
He's the youngest coach
In
of the
Germany, yeah, I
in
think.
Germany, and even in the Champions League, there's no one younger than him
I'm
coaching a
not
team.
sure. I think him and Frank
He,
Lampard are around the same age. I'm
no,
not sure.
He's younger than me. That guy is
Is
younger
he's
than
what
me.
34 something
He's
like
40,
that?
he's
Yeah,
34. I'm going to be 38. That guy is 4 years younger than me.
yeah.
You know, but when it comes to coaches, you know, I'll go back now to another place. Portugal, Benfica. Starting of the season, we were playing nice. Then we didn't go to Champions League. We lost against fucking PAOK or whatever it was. Everything started going downhill from there. Then the thing, it's no excuse, you know, players
You
getting
lost to the
corona.
farmers' wives.
Dude, we lost last weekend we lost against Sporting 1-0 at the end of the game, and I still don't understand how.
How do you feel knowing that Sporting Lisbon are going to win the Primera Division?
11 points clear from us.
They're going to win it for the first time in how many years? 35 years?
30 years, I think. Man, it just shows how Porto and Benfica are shit.
Especially
this year.
Porto. You've considered how far Porto have fallen from last year.
Yeah.
But I told you at the start, when you got this guy back in, you brought back a dinosaur.
But that's the thing, you know. But people.
He's your
complain. I
version
don't-
of, he's the Portuguese version of Sam Allardyce. He'll keep you up, but he ain't winning no trophies, pal.
But that's the thing. When he was there,
Because he did well at Flamengo and he's flat. And I'll tell you what, you say he did well at Flamengo, he flattered to deceive. They had far and away the best team in Brazil.
Yeah.
Any coach could have done what they did.
But
They
when
got
he
to the
was at
final of the
Benfica-
Club World Cup, which is as prestigious as people say it is. It's a joke competition. It doesn't take long.
it's not-
Doesn't take much to get to the final.
It's not a Champions League.
No. So and it flattered to deceive because they had a few forward players
But it's
on loan that performed slightly well against Liverpool.
But you know,
And you brought him back fully well knowing that he did a shit job for you in the end. Did a good,
No, he
good job for a
was-
couple of years. Don't
he
get me
was
wrong.
champion. He was champion every single year. He was at
Yeah, but you got rid of him because he was a
But-
cunt.
But
Then he went
was
to
champion.
Sporting and was fucking atrocious.
But think of this.
Something should tell you at some point there's a fucking a use by date
No,
on
but
a product,
it's
just
not-
like
it's
there is
not
on
only
these
that.
managers.
It's not only that. The conditions he had when he went to Benfica the first time had nothing to do with this now. Just think of this. Benfica had a team that had Aymar, Saviola, Di Maria, Ramirez, David Luiz, Garay, Javi Garcia, all at their prime. Cardozo. Man, if you didn't win, Gaitan, if you didn't win the 3 seasons you
Fucking-
were there, everything, you were shit. You had
Yeah.
to win. That team didn't need a coach. That team just needed to go inside the pitch and play. That's it. That was it. Nothing else. And now, this time, the team that we have, man, the best player that we had this season is a player that was about to be sold at the end of the transfer window, Servi. And he's been
Yeah.
our best player. And Weigl is now our best midfielder.
And he's shit.
And even Tarapt is playing. So that tells you a lot of the team that you have.
Honestly, mate, I'm looking at your team. I don't think you'd survive in the Premier League.
In England.
No.
We wouldn't survive championship. Are you kidding me?
Genuinely. You've almost got a team full of championship players with one or two quality ones. And you've
Everton is
fallen away.
good.
And the difference is, what Benfica used to be really good at is when they sold one of their prized assets, they'd get one in on the cheap and hone them and nurture them into a quality player. They're not doing that
was-
now.
I think that was the idea of bringing
Yeah.
him back, is to make sure that.
But they're not doing that now
develop.
because the kids in your youth team, they're all moving on. They're going on to bigger and better things because they're getting offered bigger contracts elsewhere.
If
So your academy is being decimated.
if you look at it, and
But on
you
top of
think
that, you
about-
all these players from South America that you could always get in, they're
That we're
going
not-
to what? Then they're not going to you guys anymore. They're going to other teams.
we got who? We got
Because why go to the step?
Everton.
Why go to the stepping stone team when you can go above the stepping stone team?
Of course,
Do you know what I mean?
it's just it doesn't make sense.
And it's
because
a detriment to your league, mate. It really is because where the difference is over these years where Sporting Lisbon have been so far off it. In the last few years, especially, they had obviously major issues a few years ago with their or basically their entire first team leaving. But behind the scenes, they were working very hard in that academy, and
And
now
all
those
those
players are
kids,
ready for the top level, and they're
if you
there.
look, if you look at their team, it's
They're
only kids.
filled
It's
with
only
young,
kids.
talented players.
The striker they have, a guy called Thiago Tomás,
Yeah.
18 years old.
The centre back, 18. The left back is 21. The right back is 19.
Yeah, they have the guy that's on loan from City, Pedro Porro.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. I'm like, where the
So
fuck did they
one of their
get these
central
guys?
midfielders is about 18 or 19 or something.
And then we go and spend the most amount of money that we ever spent in a striker coming from Granada that hasn't done fuck all. Waldschmidt, he's a good player, but not the same thing.
He's not the level player that's going to elevate your club.
No, then we get Vertonghen.
He's a squad player.
Dude, when Vertonghen and Otamendi are the best signings that Benfica did, something's wrong.
Yeah, but
Something's wrong.
You can't say Vertonghen was a world class player. He's
He
probably
still
he's
is.
probably
He still
petering
is in
out now.
Portugal, but he
But
still is
Otamendi
good.
has never been a top level player.
And then, but that's the thing. When we send Ruben Diaz to City, fucking hell. If it was me, I would have said, look, keep Otamendi with you guys, give us the money, and go buy a fucking decent centre back. A young guy. Go buy someone young, man. What's the thing? Buy someone young. It's not a fucking problem. Now we bought the guy from Brazil, Lucas Verissimo, but we all know fucking Brazilian centre backs take ages to adapt. David Luiz took 1 year and a half. Luizão almost 2 years. Jardel, when he was at his prime, 1 year and a half to get used to playing in Europe. It's not the same thing as
He's
playing
only
in
at his
Brazil,
prime for about 2 weeks and all, isn't he?
probably.
But this is a problem. Where it's worked for them for a good few years, it stopped working for many reasons. They're selling their players too quickly.
We don't have money to keep them.
You're selling them before you can find a replacement. That's where you used to be good. You had a replacement ready every time, and now you don't. You never do.
No, it's the scouting. The scouting is working really bad.
Yeah, I don't know if they've changed their scouts or something. Whether those scouts have moved on to other clubs.
We lost a few scouts. Some moved to Sporting when Jesus went there.
And look how that's working out.
So we got fucked there.
Look how that's working out. It's roles reversed. You're becoming the joke club to them.
But then we have a nice academy with really good players. Come on, our youth team for 3 years in a row is in the final of the UEFA Champions League for the youth kids. How the fuck is it possible that we don't promote players from the youth team to the main team? How? You know, you have 2 center backs in the youth team that are better than the fucking 2 center backs that we have.
They're probably worried that if they bring him in, then they just get bought in January or they get bought in September.
Yeah. Jardel gets injured. Otamendi is old. Vertonghen is old. We send Ruben Diaz to City. Ferro, he's not too bad. What do? Sell him to Valencia.
You sold him.
Yeah. Todibo,
Valencia, who have got no money, have bought one of your centre backs.
Todibo, on loan from Barcelona, plays
not good enough.
games.
Nowhere good, near good enough.
Barcelona recalls him, sends him to someone else.
Did you see that he was part of a Schalke team that nearly got relegated last year? They are going to get relegated this year, but he's not a good player to Debo.
No.
He's a liability. I've seen him play. I'm not impressed.
Todibo, he's not a centre back because he doesn't know how to defend.
He hasn't got the discipline. He hasn't got the discipline or the positional awareness.
Yeah. He will be a nice midfielder if he plays in midfield. But at the defense, he doesn't know how to play in defense because he's one of those players.
It makes you wonder why, because he's been playing that position throughout Barcelona's youth teams.
Every single year.
It's clear that he hasn't got the discipline, the mental discipline to play that position at the top level.
But listen, then we had a guy called Nuno Santos. We sold him to Rio Ave, and we put a clause that he couldn't be sold to Porto. Where is he now? Sporting, one of their best players.
So this is the thing, because you've been sleeping on Sporting Lisbon. You've been so focused on Porto.
Underestimated Sporting.
They say this about war or a battle or a fight. If you don't respect your enemy, you end up underestimating them, and it gives them the advantage. And that's what's happening now.
The problem is
there could be a drastic
Porto
change now.
Underestimated Sporting completely.
And Braga.
4 years we were like, fuck these guys, they don't count.
Yeah, they're a joke. That's easy. Braga, 3 points. We're always going to be there.
Just lost their best striker, Paulinho. Guess where he went? Sporting. Sporting is
This is it, mate.
There slowly.
And if you don't act soon, you and Porto, there could be a drastic change to Portugal football.
It will be Braga. It will be both Sporting.
And there could be a period of dominance
at the top. and that's the problem. But then,
Hulk
you
will be
know,
happy anyway.
yeah, a lot of them. One of our best midfielders from our youngsters went on loan with an option to buy. Guess where? Bayern Munich. A kid called Thiago Dantas. He already played 2 games for their main team, and they said already we're gonna buy him. Forget him going back. Jetson
Yeah.
at Tottenham, he could still come to us and do a nice season. No, let's not terminate his fucking loan because we don't need another midfielder. Vinicius is shit, but even with a leg behind his back, he's still better than Seferovic, Darwin, and whatever strikers we have. He was the top scorer last
Well,
season.
he's not doing well at Tottenham, and I think there's loads of different circumstances for
Yeah, but
that.
it's England. It's England. At
He's
the end
not
of the
going to
day, it's
flourish under
different.
no strikers really flourish under Mourinho that well. Maybe one or two over the years,
No,
but
but you look at that and you think, "Fuck this, man." And then we buy guys called like Chiquinho. Chiquinho, who the fuck is Chiquinho, man? Who the fuck is this guy?
you
Then
kept
you have
him instead of Vinicius. That's
then
the
you have
funny thing.
Pizzi. What the fuck is he doing?
He's
He
played his best years.
he's gone. He's gone. He doesn't play anymore.
Rafa's not at the same level anymore.
Rafa against Sporting did the first half amazing. He destroyed their defense. At the end of the first half, he got a knock on his
Yeah.
knee. Second half,
That's his problem.
gone,
He's always injured. That's his
gone.
other issue because he's a bit of a shining light in what is a really mediocre team. I've always enjoyed watching him play, and even when he played for Portugal, he played very well.
He's fast.
But the problem
He's
is
constantly on top of you.
he's constantly injured, and
But
I
then,
think I question his mentality as well. He doesn't seem to have that desire to for 90 minutes
no, he doesn't.
to want a goal.
He
There's
doesn't.
times throughout a game if things aren't going his way, he basically goes and becomes anonymous.
I will give you one example, and you have it on your team. Werner. If things don't go again like he wants, you see his body language. He's there like
Yeah.
fuck this, and Rafa is the same. But
See,
then,
I think Werner's different. Werner is someone I trust him to turn it around.
oh yeah,
He's
he
too
will.
good. He's
He
too good
will.
not to. I mean,
He needs one goal.
At Leipzig, they weren't always winning every game, but he was 100%
Yeah,
effort in every game.
he's been like he hasn't scored much here.
Yeah.
I think a striker lives from
Well,
goals.
the weird thing is he started scoring for fun. Then it dried up, and strikers go through these patches,
Of
and
course.
I no doubt he will. He probably has.
He's a
It's
young
probably the
guy.
first time really he has, but
Yeah, but
I
he's a
trust
young
him to
guy.
get
He
through
will
it.
come
But
back.
it's weird the mentality of when you do get that chance, and it's easy. You definitely like. There's no chance you're going to miss this, and then you do,
And
and
then it
then
goes.
and then it
You're
happens
fucked.
again, and then it happens again.
You lose
It's weird.
confidence.
Yeah, it's weird.
But going back to Benfica, just to close this, then we
Yeah.
bought 2 guys, Everton and Pedrinho, 2 Brazilians, one left wing and the other right wing. They're both good players. Pedrinho, he doesn't play. Man, every time he plays, you can see that he has good feet, but he needs to play. That's a thing.
Yeah.
A player needs to play to show.
But I told
Everton,
you I had questions about that Everton anyway.
dude.
I already had question marks about him, mate.
Yeah, but
He's got a lot of
team.
pace. He's
He's
good
from
on the
Brazilian
ball.
national team.
He's good on the ball, but his output isn't really high enough.
No, I don't know, man. It's weird. And then you have other players that came in that you look at them and they're not quality players, but they're good enough for the Portuguese league, and they don't do fuck all. I think our team this year underestimated almost every single team we played against.
Well, that's the
Except
other thing.
for
Some of those smaller teams have been very clever in getting some of your rejects in, and your rejects are coming good.
dude, we played against Guimarães yesterday. We could have easily won the game.
Is that the guy who's the Brazilian midfielder? Does he play for them? The young guy?
Which one?
Oh, I can't remember his name. Keep talking while I look for it.
Guimarães has a good team. Marcus Edwards, fucking good player at
Assunção?
English. Assunção. No, not for Guimarães. Guimarães is André and a guy called André Almeida that play in the midfield. And they have Quaresma. They bought Quaresma. They have that guy Marcus Edwards.
What the Quaresma?
Yeah, Quaresma is playing for Guimarães, mate.
Oh, Famalicão he plays for. Sorry, this is
Assunção. Okay.
yeah, Gustavo
Fabio,
Assunção.
Gustavo, yes.
Yeah.
He's a good player. Huh? He's a good player. But, teams like, for example, Boa Vista. Look at this. Boa Vista hired, they signed, Adil Rami, fucking center back. Javi Garcia is their captain. And I'm like, dude, I know they're 30 somethings, but they could still play at Benfica and
it's
Porto.
their experience and leadership can lift other players.
easily they can
You don't
play.
have to be the best player in the team to be the most influential.
Of course not. Look, a lot of people didn't like Luizan, but his experience and his fucking leadership on the pitch, that was what made the difference
Well, I
at
think
Benfica.
you look at Liverpool. Jordan Henderson is someone that's lifted the players around him for a good few years. Probably wasn't that good a player. I think he's a very good player now, but he isn't the best player in their team. But he's one of the
But it makes a
possibly the
difference.
most important.
It makes a difference. Even Milner, when
Yeah,
he plays, you see the players backing him because he has all that experience playing in the Premier League, and
yeah.
everyone goes, they back him. But with Porto, who do they have there now at Porto? Pepe. Pepe is the fucking
Oh,
face of
there
Porto.
was a fucking horrid incident there the other day, wasn't there? One of
Oh,
their
where
players
Manu, he
fractured
was,
skull.
yeah, Manu from Porto.
Did you see
The
it?
the game was stopped
Horrible. Who was
to,
that? Who was that against? I can't remember.
against Belenenses,
Yeah, that was it.
the
A keeper, wasn't
goalkeeper.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, man.
But it's just one of them ones. You remember a very similar one with Torres and the keeper. I can't
Yeah,
remember who it was, but
I know, you know.
you saw
But
Jimenez's reaction.
the keeper had to come out anyways.
But the Porto players were in tears, mate, and you know something bad then. But you had a
He's
fractured.
fine. He's fine
Was
now.
it a fractured skull he had though?
Yeah, he had a fractured
Same with
skull and
as
something in
the
his. Yeah, but the
same as
problem with
Jimenez from
him.
Wolves, wasn't it? He
Yeah,
got a
but
fractured skull.
the problem with him is that it's not only a fractured skull; it's also something in his spine. So
Oh really?
it
One of the
might be,
vertebrae.
yeah, it might be fucked. So, and honestly, that guy Nanu, he's a good player. Huh?
Yeah.
Left or right back, he's really fast. He came from Maritimo. He's a good player, but hopefully nothing. Look,
Yeah,
I hate
it's horrible to
Porto.
see. It's
I
horrible to
hate
see that for
Porto,
any player. Yeah,
but
no
please.
matter your feelings on a club or a player, it's horrible to see. Let's be honest.
The thing is, you know what's happening in Portugal, and I see it now really weird, is that before the games between Porto and Benfica, it would be like a fucking battle. Everyone just killing each other. Now, even Pepe and all the other one, all friendly with each other on the game. And I'm like, okay, this is how you see that Benfica and Porto went down because there's no rivalry between them anymore.
Yeah, the games are very placid,
Yeah, there's nothing
tepid.
anymore. There's a
There's no
knock
fight.
here.
There's no
There's no
there's no
fight.
battles. And
Nothing.
not talking
Nothing.
like actual scraps and trying to
No, no, no,
hurt each
no.
other,
Like
but
proper one.
there's no
Yeah.
desire or drive.
You just see them playing, and the game against Sporting, I could have fallen
I
asleep during the
think a
game.
lot of it goes down to the fact that there's a lot of players for both clubs that don't really have a huge emotional attachment to the club.
Yeah, that
They
doesn't
don't
exist
get
anymore.
the how big it is. You know.
If everyone at Benfica had the same attachment that Samaris has, and he doesn't play, that team would win everything.
Yeah.
Because that guy doesn't play, and the other day I saw the weirdest thing that was Jorge Jesus giving instructions to a Portuguese player to go inside the pitch, and Samaris was next to him, a Greek guy translating it to the Portuguese guy that was going in. Imagine how shit that is that your coach is Portuguese, you're Portuguese, but you need a Greek guy telling you what to do because you don't understand what your coach is saying.
That's
I'm like,
weird.
what the fuck,
Yeah.
man?
All right. Anyway, I think we're keen to end it there, mate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, listen, guys. 2021 so far is what we're basically discussing in this podcast.
I don't,
It
I
hasn't
don't
been
even know
a
what to say.
particularly good start to the year. We can only hope there's improvements throughout the year, and hope primarily that fairly soon lockdown is lifted and family and friends can see each other again soon, and we can all go down the boozer and have a nice old pint.
Yeah, and then we can actually talk shit about the year, but we're still drinking.
Yeah,
And
and we can talk shit about each other, but this
I'm
time to each other's faces.
you know what I'm thinking? The amount of money that the pubs must have lost during these lockdowns, and I'm wondering
Most of them are going to be gone.
how many of them will reopen.
Yeah,
Actually,
most of them will be gone. But I was trying to end it on a positive. But thanks for that, Bruno. All right, guys, this has been the Ball Games podcast. If you enjoyed it, give us a like, a subscribe, and hit the notification bell or whatever if it tells you when we upload, and do
If
whatever
not,
the opposite is on Spotify and the others.
and if you don't like it, you can also do the same. So that's
Yeah,
fine.
if you don't like it, still do it, and then tell us that you didn't like it, so we can. Anyway,
Constructive,
yeah.
constructive criticism.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed. It's goodbye from me, and
And
it's
have a nice weekend, I guess.
yeah. All right.
Well,
Cheers.
see ya.
Bye.
Adios.
Perfect.